Good morning and welcome to GrainTV. It's October 19th, 2012. Joining me today is Logan Burgess and I'm Brock Shimbino. We had a couple of headlines driving the trade this morning. Let's turn over to fire tip, see how the market's reacting. Corn is actually up about 1.50 cents. Soybeans down about 10.5 cents. Wheat in Kansas City and Chicago both up 7.5 cents this morning. Lean hogs are up a little bit and cattle's off just a little bit this morning. Like I was saying, Logan, we did have a couple headlines driving the markets this morning. Yep. One of them was the Informa's revisions to their estimates for 2012 harvested acreage and for 2013 planted acreage. Yep. Why don't you take us through what we got?
Yeah, Brock, well, we did just get these here just a moment ago. As you can see, the first column here is what the 2012-13 planted acreage was. As you can see here, the second column, this was Informa's previous estimate for the 13-14 crop, and here the last column is the revisions that they came out with here today. As you can see, no change in the corn acreage here, 97.5 million acres there. A slight revision higher here for beans and a revision lower down to 56.8 million acres there for all wheat. So certainly as we kind of wrap up the 12-13 crop, the attention is going to start turning obviously in the near term here to South America, but once again back to our production. Brock, I know coming into this planting season there were expectations for an absolutely massive crop. Obviously, we hit some major weather issues here with the drought, but as being a producer right now, are you going to start thinking about pricing some of this 13-14 crop?
If I was a producer, I would definitely be thinking about pricing some of the 13-14 crop. Yeah. The fundamentals are going to look like they're going to shape up to be pretty bearish heading into the next season. We look like we're going to have some pretty big acreage planted. Yeah. If we have decent weather with the acreage planted, we should have pretty good yields, which is going to be a large production figure next year. That's really going to drive the trade early in the summer and into next year. So I think if I was a producer, I'd be looking at selling, upwards of maybe 20% or pricing 20% of your crop for next year. You don't want to get overextended on cash markets, forward pricing or anything like that, but some form of using options or maybe selling some futures or doing some HTAs would definitely be prudent at this time. Right,
certainly. There's a lot of strategies out there to do that. If you have any questions about that, certainly give us a call here at the office. If we stay on kind of the production side of things here, we did get some numbers out from the Argentinian Agricultural Secretary here this morning. He's looking at their soy crop as being between 55 and 58 million tons there. How does that compare to the USDA? USDA is looking for about 55 million tons there, according to the last WASDE report. So it does kind of open the door for a revision higher here from the USDA. They are going to be having a crop tour going on next week down in Argentina. That's wrapping up on October 24th. We're very excited to be talking to Esteban Capati there next week and kind of get his take on the yields that could potentially be coming out of this crop. How is the soil moisture doing? That kind of thing. So look for that next week on GrainTV. But Brock, kind of staying on the world front here, we got some big news out of Ukraine here this morning as it relates to wheat. It looked like it put a bid in this market, huh?
The market's kind of been anticipating some sort of export ban coming from Ukraine. Last night we got confirmation of that. The agricultural ministry in Ukraine actually came out and said they will be banning exports starting November 15th. They're going to cap them at about 5 million metric tons. Currently, they've sold about, about 3.5 million metric tons, or they've exported 3.5 million metric tons. But they actually have sales on the books of up to 5.4 million metric tons, so we could see them actually cancel some of those sales that they've already made as we move towards November 15th. But, I think the interesting thing to point out here is that the USDA actually has them pegged at 4 million metric tons of exports this year. So it's kind of already factored into the market. But if we take a look at fire tip here, we'll take a look at the 5-minute chart for wheat. You can see that once that announcement came out in the middle of the night last night, about 3:30 Central Time, you can see that we actually popped about 15 to 20 cents or so right after that announcement. We continue to see volatile trade after that and into the day session today. So it just shows that even given these markets are trading almost around the clock now, even in the middle of the night, we can see these headlines taking effect and holding onto the market and really driving the trade in the overnight session.
Right, certainly. If we kind of look at what's coming down the pipe here today, we are going to be getting the cattle on feed report here later today. Certainly very important there for live and feeder cattle contracts. That's kind of it, though. I think that mostly wraps up our show here for today on GrainTV. One thing to keep an eye on here over the weekend is the state of the soil condition down in Brazil. There was some concern yesterday that it might be deteriorating a little bit. Seems like right now people are exceptionally gun-shy about anything drought-related with good reason, but we'll keep you posted on that here on GrainTV. We'll also be tweeting about it as new events come out there on Twitter. At GrainTV is where you can find us on Twitter. I think that's our show here, though, for Friday. Brock, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you Monday.